Let me share with you how I realized I was mothering myself. There are moments in life that don't shout, they whisper. They don't announce a breakthrough. They simply unfold quietly, gently, almost like a memory returning. That's how it felt the day I realized I was mothering myself. Not in the obvious ways, like eating well or making to-do lists, but in the way I began to speak to myself, in the way I stayed with myself through discomfort, in the way I no longer abandoned my needs to please the world. You see, for a long time, I was waiting for someone to hold me, to speak to the child inside me, to see the weariness I was carrying but not seeing. I thought mothering was something someone else had to give me, something I missed, something I longed for. And maybe in some ways that was true. But what I didn't realize is that my soul had already begun mothering me long before I noticed. In small, sacred, unspoken ways. Like how I began resting without guilt. Or how I stopped criticizing myself for being too emotional. Or how I started whispering, "It's okay, baby, you're safe now," when the world felt too loud. I remember the exact moment it hit me. I was curled up in bed, heart aching, not for anything dramatic, but for all the things that had added up. The exhaustion, the pressure, the feeling of carrying everything alone. And suddenly I wrapped my arms around myself and just held me. Not to fix, not to explain, just to be there. And I heard this voice, not from my head, but from my womb, my body, my being. She said, "I've got you." I finally realized I was being held, not by someone outside me, but from within. That voice, that warmth, that presence, it was me. And it was more than me. It was the mother within. Since then, I've started noticing all the ways I mother myself every day. When I choose rest instead of punishment. When I nourish myself with softness, not restriction. When I allow my grief to rise without rushing it away. I am not always strong. I don't always know the next step. But now I stay with myself, especially when things feel messy or uncertain. And that is mothering. We think of the mother as a role for others, but there's a mother in you too. She's not the voice that says, "Do more." She's the one that says, "Come here, let's breathe together." She's not the one who shames. She's the one who sees your ache and sits beside it. I realized I was mothering myself the day I stopped rushing my healing. When I stopped saying, "What's wrong with me?" and started asking, "What do you need, love?" And isn't that what we've always needed? Not someone to fix us, not even someone to understand, but someone to stay, to witness, to hold. Maybe you've been mothering yourself too, without even knowing it. Every time you choose gentleness instead of judgment, every time you let yourself cry, every time you feed yourself, soothe yourself, or simply keep showing up, that's her. That's you. That's the holy work of mothering. And I want to say something to the part of you that still feels small, tired, or unseen. You are not alone. You are being held. Even when it feels like no one sees you, the mother within sees it all. She remembers the times you pushed through when you wanted to collapse. She knows how hard it's been to be everything for everyone. And she's not asking you to do more. She's asking you to come home. Home is not a place. It's a presence. It's the quiet safety of being with yourself without needing to perform. It's the rhythm of your breath, the warmth in your belly, the voice that says, "You don't have to earn rest. You don't have to be perfect to be loved." This is mothering. Sometimes the deepest healing doesn't come from outside. It rises from within. And sometimes it sounds like your own voice, softer, wiser, more patient than you've ever heard it. That voice is your inner mother. And she is not a fantasy. She is not an affirmation. She is real, alive in your cells, your soul, your womb. So today, I invite you to notice, where have you already been mothering yourself? Maybe it's the tea you brew when you're anxious. Maybe it's the way you speak to yourself during hard moments. Maybe it's just the fact that you keep choosing to heal, even when it's slow. These are not small things. These are sacred. These are the moments that remind you you are already being the love you once longed for. Put your hand on your heart and then on your womb. Breathe. Whisper to yourself, "I see you. I'm here. I'm not leaving." This is mothering, and you're doing it beautifully.